everyone. Thank you for attending today's webinar. My name is Michael Garcia. I'm the treatment coordinator for the Council of Compulsive Gambling. And I want to thank you for joining us for the last series of our Problem Gambling Awareness Month webinar. And today's topic that we're going to get into it's an important topic. It's a topic about surrounding the warning signs of problem gambling and how to pick up on them, and more importantly, what's that cost of not being able to pick up on them or not seeing them. So as we work through this webinar, I want to thank you for your attention. I want to thank you for being here and for contributing just your time and energy toward what we do here at the council. So let's get started. Okay, so number one, who are we? So the Council of Compulsive Gambling, of New Jersey, we are a nonprofit. We are here in the state of in Trenton, New Jersey, and we operate the 1-800-GAMBLER helpline. Now, the 800-GAMBLER helpline is a free resource that's used to convey information, to provide resources, to provide clinical support or clinical direction if someone is seeking clinical help. We have a whole host of providers of therapists who are within our network that we are able to refer to. And it's a resource that's valuable because it allows for just an outlet for someone who is looking for information, whether they're very early on in their recovery journey or a family member who's seeking support for a loved one. So operating the 800-GAMBLER helpline is a valuable resource that we have, and we ask that anyone who needs it, that they use it. I do want to remind everyone that the council we are not here to demonize gambling in any way, shape, or form. We believe responsible gambling is fine. What our purpose is to be here for the people who need us, for the individuals who have a problem gambling, and their families who need the support. And when they need us the most, we'll be there. And things like the 24-hour or the helpline, and just the many events that we attend, and these webinars are all to support that message that we will be here when needed, if needed, however needed. Opportunities with the council. So I am the treatment coordinator, as I said. So part of my purview is working with the 30-hour course as well as provider expansion. The 30-hour course, it's a great resource for individuals who live in the state of New Jersey. It's free for the individuals who live in New Jersey. And it's a great preliminary course to offer just a basic understanding of problem gambling. Now, there is some clinical information, so it would be helpful for those who are clinicians who are seeking to transition into that level, into a deeper understanding of problem gambling. But it really is for anyone and everyone who just has an interest in understanding problem gambling. Family members, it's self-paced, it's online. And for those of you who are seeking credit hours, it's board approved. The next thing is provider expansion. We already have a great list of therapists that work with us and work with the council. And our goal is just to bring on more therapists that are qualified, that are qualified and are knowledgeable about problem gambling. So when we do have a client that seeks our services, we can refer them confidently and know that they're going to be treated well, and know that whoever is working with them is qualified and fully understands the scope of what they're dealing with. So with our provider network, we have opportunities for future webinars, for exclusive webinars, anything for opportunities for credit hours. So for either of these opportunities, if anyone is interested or needs any more information, feel free to give me a contact or send me an email or give me a call. My information will be up at the end of the webinar that you can review. The next thing is that I'm happy to say that we're finally fully staffed. We have a amazing prevention specialists who have joined our team and made us stronger. And it's great to say that not one area of the state is left uncovered. We have our prevention specialists will go out to, they will cover the entire state, every county within the state, and they will be there to connect you to resources, to tailor presentations for your needs, whether it's at a school, whether it's at a treatment center, whether it's just at a regular community event. The prevention specialists, they take our information to new heights. So if you are looking for information that or if you're looking for a prevention specialist to come out to an event because you're having you have questions about problem gambling, they will be there. So their information is also on our website, so feel free to contact them. If you have any issues finding a prevention specialist or looking for a specific area, you can reach out to Luis de Olbe. He's also on our website. His information's on our website, and he can help direct you and put you where you need to be. Okay, so what's the objective for today? We're going to develop an overview of problem gambling warning signs, understand what they are, what they look like in some cases. We're going to break down commonly held beliefs of the gambler. So this could be from anything from believing in luck or superstition to chasing losses, and understand why how they form. Understanding the importance of recognizing these warning signs, and again, painting a picture of what could happen should these warning signs go unnoticed. And finally, develop a toolkit or of available resources and strategies that you can use for support. My goal is to provide you with as much information as possible. Again, this webinar is a preliminary webinar, so there will be other webinars that will have a deeper dive into this topic. And but the information in this webinar will be made available to anyone who requests it. Just send me an email and I can send you the slides at the end of once we're concluded today. So, potential problem gambling warning signs. So we're going to go from common to uncommon, or obvious to less obvious, right? So an obvious one would be being preoccupied with gambling, such as constantly planning gambling activities and figuring out how to get more money for gambling, right? So that preoccupation with gambling is a big indicator that something may be going on, something may be happening. Needing to gamble with increasing amounts of money. So what we call this is that increasing a risk factor. So as you begin, you place bets, you become more comfortable, you realize that there's an opportunity to win bigger, you keep shooting to that next level, or you witness someone who is just increasingly taking more risk and more risk with their money, betting at a high level, because anything less than risk will just not have the same thrill. It's not exciting anymore. Chasing losses. This is a big one. This is where those belief systems kind of come into play, where if I gamble, even though I'm losing right now, I'm on a down streak right now, there's inevitably I'm going to hit this big streak, and I'm going to be able to erase all of my losses. I'm going to be able to take everything that happened, and I'll make up for it with this big win. So that fantasy or fallacy of that the little losses don't matter because I'm chasing a big win have a lot to do with contributing to that mindset that could lead to a dangerous downward spiral. And asking for financial help, specifically bailouts. This could be money that someone who has a job or may have an income that and their income or their means of finances just isn't cutting it anymore. They are constantly asking for money, or they're constantly without money. They're constantly looking for ways to get money, whether it comes from selling their own possessions, and we'll talk more about what that looks like when it comes into the gambler belief system. But we know that financial loss and financial stability are a huge part of problem gambling in terms of what we want to be aware of. So it's a potential, but it's also a more common sign. Uncommon signs look like mood swings. So While it's fair to say that mood swings could come from a variety of different reasons, it's important to note that with problem gambling, because you are on an ebb and flow of things, because things are, you're up one day, you're down 1 hour, you're like, things are moving. Mood swings may become more rational. You may start to notice behavior changes a lot more quickly. And what we'll talk about is that mood swings by themselves could have a variety of different sources, but when paired with context, when paired with different situations and behaviors, we can then start to put, the pieces together. Withdrawn or isolating from family and friends. This is a big one. Moving, not wanting to be around other people because I'm so focused on or hyper focused on my own game or my own season or my own line. So often this is noticed, but not talked about as much, and for it often goes unnoticed for a relatively long time, onto the point where it's joined with other factors that may lead to a further downturn in terms of emotional stress. Being secretive or dishonest. This is a big one. Lying about gambling, the extent of gambling, lying about how much money has gone into it, or what I've done, or how many hours I'm spending toward my gambling or toward my games, or whatever the case may be. Neglecting basic responsibilities, paying bills. Are you noticing that things around the house, if it's a loved one, are you noticing that things aren't being taken care of the way they were? Are you noticing that there's the cars filling up with a lot of with a lot of different fast food containers, or even lottery tickets or scratch offs? Are you noticing different things where that are uncharacteristic for this person? Sleeping too much or sleeping too little. We know this could be a sign of depression. This could be a sign of a bigger issue that's mounting. Someone may be spending too much time on their phone, or away at a computer, or even at a casino, or watching games. But the sleep factor, or even just your own basic needs not being met, could be an indicator that something is happening, something is forming. It's important to remember that not everyone with a gambling problem is going to exhibit these signs. There are individuals who can gamble responsibly. There are individuals who can place a $5 wager and walk away, and if they lose, and it's not a problem. The reason why we speak about these warning signs, or we talk about these warning signs, is because building the context around the behavior, understanding the behavior that could be associated with these warning signs, it's going to be a big key in us to understanding how to help. So when we look at these warning signs alone, they don't give us that much information. But when we pair them with context clues, specifically with behavior, we then find ourselves more confident to be able to discover what's truly happening and be able to look beyond the surface. So what are context clues when it comes to behavior? Context clues are pieces of information that surround a behavior or situation. So it helps to provide you with more meaning. It helps to take, rather than that snapshot that you get, it helps to build the bigger picture and give you more information to go off of. Now, look, those examples of the warning signs, they were kind of pulled from different phases, right? They could be emotional, they could be physical. So what I ask is that when you're looking at these warning signs, or when you feel like you've discovered warning signs, pay attention to what's happening around. So physical, are there physical changes? Are they not eating? Do you notice that there's that individuals may not be taking care of themselves, or maybe they're hyper stressed, or they're hyper emotional? Is their environment change? So again, paying attention to context clues in terms of their living environment, right? Are they paying, are you noticing a difference in whether they're taking care of their basic responsibilities? Social context, are they withdrawing from situations, from social situations, from family events, from things that they used to do? things that they used to enjoy. Are you noticing these changes, and are they related to anything that you may see within the gambling or gaming community? So I always tell people, look at the big games, look at things that you can see that are happening. If you are noticing anything that's associated with these, it might, by seeing what's happening in the world or seeing what's happening that night even, could help you to further put these context clues together. When we interpret behavior through context clues, we're looking beyond the surface level. So we're looking for a situation that's driving the behavior. So an example would be, we all, I know I do, I fight with my my Wi-Fi all the time. Some of you on this webinar are aware of that because you've seen past webinars where or past presentations where I sound like a robot at some point. So hopefully not today. But Wi-Fi, it happens. Their Wi-Fi will fluctuate. Sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's not. Sometimes cable goes out. If somebody, it's normal to be irritated at those things. But if someone is solely relying on that Wi-Fi or that connection, and you see that they're on the phone, and the irritation, for watching the game or for, whether it's a race, whatever it may be, if that irritation is met with anger and it seems uncharacteristic, it seems like it's more than what it should be, then the anger is probably not telling the whole story. What you're seeing, the Wi-Fi, the cause may not be telling the whole story. There might be a deeper layer. And what context clues and situational awareness, what it helps us to do is it helps us to form a better understanding that something could be going on, and it sends off those warning signs that we should be paying attention to it. Now, when I talk about warning signs or when I talk about context clues, this is typically how people seem to represent it. They think that I'm talking about becoming a detective, and I'm telling everybody you must investigate. You have to, put things together, and you got to uncover the truth. For our purpose, I'm not asking you to do this. I'm asking you to not be a detective. I don't want anybody, at the end of this webinar, trailing anybody and saying that Mike told you to do it. I did not. This is not what we're talking about. Instead, I want you to think about it as putting pieces of the puzzle together. So my son, he's 4. He just turned 4. He has a ton of puzzles, and I like to think of myself as a puzzle master now because I've been doing it so often with him. When you take out a puzzle, you're not fitting in your own agenda. You're not making assumptions that, oh, I think it's going to be a rhino, or it's going to, the picture is going to be something different than what's on the box. The information, everything that you need is within that puzzle box. All you are doing, you're putting the pieces together to reveal the bigger picture. When we look at context clues, especially when we're linking them with warning signs, all we are doing is we are putting the pieces together. We're not injecting our own fears or our own thoughts. We're just taking what it is and allowing the picture to reveal itself by us doing the work of just being able to piece these pieces together. So how do we piece the puzzles together, right? Or what are we looking for? Changes in financial behavior. As we know with problem gambling, specifically, financial instability is a big indicator, right? It's one of the most common warning signs. Changes in financial behavior could be borrowing money, selling off possessions, going into debt or racking up high amounts of debt. So many things that could be associated with that issue in finances or an issue in finances, and it has a direct correlation with gambling when paired with some of these other warning signs or context clues. Now, problem gambling compared to other addictions is that there is no UDS cut, right? There's no urine analysis. So relying on understanding finances, especially for therapists, for family members, anyone who could benefit from understanding finances or keeping track of finances, is going to be, that's your only analysis. That is your equivalent to getting a urine analysis done, because there, as we know with gambling, there's very little, the indicators are so small already. So we need all the information and all the help that we can get. And looking into the finances is one way to, again, add to the puzzle piece and be able to allow the story, allow the picture to reveal itself. Changes in financial or changes in social behavior. So individuals who may be struggling with problem gambling have may seem to be more withdrawn or irritable. So we talked about, again, those changes in mood, right? The fluctuating of mood. They also may stop doing things that they were interested in before. So activities that they may have loved to do before, they may become less interested in. They might instead opt to go to the casino. They might instead say, no, let's go to the track, or let's go do something else. Let's go, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go bowling tonight. I'd rather go to, ballets, or I'd rather go somewhere else. So paying attention to how things may change, and also just how they are socially. Are they withdrawn, or are they moving away from people or social situations? Are they, are they constantly looking to get out early, or just be out of that place, and they don't seem like they're having a good time? Again, in itself may not tell the whole story, but using other context clues, it's just another way of learning how to form that entire story. Changes in work and academic. We see this a lot with students. Staying up late to be on your phone, staying up late to game or gamble, or or going out extended amount of times, drinking, anything that's associated within that lifestyle of being of gaming or gambling is going to have an effect, or it can have a significant impact on a person's ability to perform well, whether it be at school or be at work. So understanding that if you see a dip, something that is uncharacteristic, there's something that's happening that's contributing to that behavior. What is it? What, how do we find out what's happening, what's changed recently that could be driving this type of reaction? And then a big one, and something that we're going to spend some time in today, is a change in the emotional state. Because of these factors and more, the emotional state of a problem gambler, or someone who's going through these type of changes, they can be significant. They can a person may begin to deteriorate pretty rapidly. You might see someone who was normally stable and confident now exhibit shy and anxious behavior. Someone who was so full of life and so excited may start to be on a depressive, get more of a depressed feeling, or stay in bed and disconnect and isolate. So these changes in an emotional state, when paired with some of these problems or some of these changes that are not stable, it could be devastating. So to examine this too, we're going to review some of the common belief systems of problem gamblers. So a big one is a belief in luck. My son was born on St. Patrick's Day, and I remember when he was born, and even to this day, whenever we had parties for him, my family and friends, they will bring, they immediately go out and they get lottery, like scratchers and things like that. And they bring it, and it's not for us, it's not for, to share with us or anything like that. It's just because of the day. And then because they're celebrating, someone's birthday. I think I had a family member at some point rub my son's head. It was not okay. But, this belief in luck that there's a system to my winning, or there's something special that I can hold to or point to that will increase my chances of winning. That could be a big indicator. That could be a part of the belief system. A belief in escapism. If you've been into a casino recently and you walk in, you are engulfed into that world, right? You are the outside world. It doesn't seem to matter for a moment. There's so many distractions. There's so many things going on. which is part of the allure, right? People enjoy that. It's, you know, it's exciting, all these different things. It's fine. But when we look at these places, whether it be on our phone, whether it be at a casino, as a form of escape, when we're trying to escape from our problems, when we use this method of as a coping mechanism, that's when it becomes a concern. And a belief system of that, I just need to get away and I need to, you know, I'm too stressed, so I got to go to my gameplay and I got to just hit the lottery, and I get into that, just that trance like state. You know, we've heard that before when it comes to gambling. In order to escape, it pushes down problems. It doesn't address anything. It doesn't change anything. It just it keeps things stuffed, and we stuff them deeper, and until eventually it will bubble out to the surface. The belief in winning back losses, chasing losses, right? Believing that the little losses or the link of bad luck, the misfortune I've had, it's all going to be changed. I just have to get to the next win. I just have to hit one jackpot, one, you know, get one good luck system or beat the odds, whatever it is. But I just have to get to a good point, and then everything will be erased. Everything will be fine. And, you know, it's cool. And that near miss theory that I almost there. I almost hit it. I was off by one number. So I'm going to keep playing until I get it, because I must be close. I must have cracked the system. That's, you know, that belief system contributes a lot, especially when paired with, you know, with the emotional state. When asking for help, people with a gambling addiction are less likely to seek help compared to other addictions. I think research shows that people with a problem gambling, they probably reach out about 10% compared to other addictions like alcohol and drug use, where it's up to 30% that they're asking for help. So again, a population that's already you know, that can already mask a lot of the warning signs, also not coming clean or coming and asking for help. It just sets a potential issue. So how do you deal with it, right? How do we, you know, we often have a belief system that when we hear the word warning sign, or we hear that phrase, we believe we're pretty good, right? We know warning signs. We come in contact with warning signs often, right? We're used to things like this, things that are up front, they're in your face, they tell of danger, you pick up on it really easy. You know that something is going wrong, you know that something is happening, and it puts you into that mode where you have to pay attention, where now I'm ready and I'm engaged and I'm ready to deal with the problem. But what happens when warning signs are missed? What's the potential of happening when they're not so obvious? What's the potential harm? "12 years ago, this was the scene that my family was alerted to. All they had heard and all the information that they had is that I had been involved in a single car accident. And in their mind, accident, you know, is he okay? Did he get hurt? What happened? What contributed to this accident?" And they would soon find out that this was no accident. So this scene here, this was a result of my suicide attempt. 12 years ago, I made an attempt to end my life due to the factors that were contributing. And to get into the entirety of what contributed to it, it would have to be another webinar. But I'm going to walk you through the months and even hours before the attempt, and give you a little bit of an indicator of what was going on in my mind at that time. And again, to speak to that emotional state. So while I'm not a problem gambler, mainly because I haven't gambled, that's not something I've practiced. But while I'm not a problem gambler, the emotional state and the serious decline, and that the warning signs and the losses is something that I can relate to. And it's something I want to share to paint the picture as to why this is something that we should, really pay attention to. So this picture was taken 2 months before my attempt. And if you look at the picture, and again, with as much clue as you can get from a picture, there's nothing obvious there, right? If you look, I seem pretty engaged. I'm unassuming. I seem connected, right? If anyone's looking at these pictures, you may not see or notice an alarm bell going off. You may not notice that something is wrong. I can tell you that at the time that this picture was taken, I believe it was Father's Day. No, I'm sorry. I believe it was just a regular, it was a family dinner. I was in the process of losing my second apartment within a year. My living girlfriend, who had no idea about anything, was beginning to get suspicious that something might be wrong. I was job hopping over and over and over again. And whether through my own means or through issue with just finding work at that time, financial instability became a real issue. I had built my ego up so much that I believed that everything was going to be, that I'd be able to take care of everything. I'd be able to work out any issue. And during this time, I had racked up so much debt trying to cover up the fact that there was financial gaps and instability, that I couldn't pick up my phone, and I couldn't have my phone on for more than a couple hours before getting bombarded with threats and with alerts going off about how much I owed, and that this was past due, and that I had judgments getting ready to be put against me, civil courts, all these different things, because I had taken out so many loans. And one of the scariest parts about this is that I had gotten to the point where I needed to get money for groceries and gas. And I had gone to one of those rental stores that you would get like an appliance from, or like furniture and things like that, and you just pay it as you go type deal. And I went there and I got I remember it was a big 55-inch smart TV, and I was able to do I was able to get it and work out a payment arrangement, and that TV never made it home. It made it right to the back of the car, and I took it straight to a pawn shop. And I took it to the pawn shop because I believe that, hey, this is worth at least enough to get me through another month, to buy me more time, because the process during this time was just to get to the next level. It wasn't about coming truthful or asking for help. It was about, I just have to cover this downtime, and then I'll be able to make up, and no one ever has to know. And that's a key point. No one ever has to know. And I remember I pawned it and I got a lot less than what I thought I was going to get. I think it was somewhere, it barely even reached $100. And as the weeks went by, and I kept, again, maneuvering things and not paying for this TV that I just pawned, I'm now getting scoped out, right? So these people, these type of companies, if you don't pay, they're coming after to get their TV. It's either the TV or their money. And I remember trying to avoid, whenever I would see the van lurk around or see the truck look around, I'd try to, I'd pretend I wasn't home. If my girlfriend were home at the time and they would knock on the door, I'd run down the stairs and pretend to open the door and have a conversation. That I'd go back up and she'd be like, "Who's that?" I'd be like, "Oh, it's nothing. It was just some marketer or something like that." And I had fallen into this stress point that it wasn't sustainable. And I remember at one point I was walking out to my car, and I felt a tap on my shoulder, and it was one of the people from the company, and they had parked the van off to the side, and I didn't notice. And he said, "Where's the TV?" And I said, "I don't know." He said, "What do you mean you don't know? Where's the TV? I need the TV." I said, "I don't know. I don't have it." And I couldn't. And I remember just saying, "It's gone. It's gone. I don't have it." And it was almost like the disbelief in it. He was like, "That's not your TV, and you don't own it." And then the threats of this is theft, and it was 100% criminal. It wasn't allowed at all. And I can remember at that time, my thought wasn't that I was afraid of going to jail or dealing with that. My thought was, how do I explain the time that I'm going to be away from my girlfriend or from my family, right? Because if I let them know that this is happening, or if they find out that this is happening, it's going to reveal everything else. So how do I keep that hidden, that part hidden? And I remember they left, and further spiraling just went. This picture was taken 2 hours before the event, before my attempt. And at this time, this was my 22nd birthday. And for everybody who was there, it was a celebration. And for me, it was a goodbye party. And I knew it. I knew what I was going to do at this time. I had 3 opportunities to ask for help. The first opportunity came from my grandmother, who she and I have always been close. I called her my moon, and she was always the person I looked to, and during these times. And she looked at me and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." She said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." And I remember she looked me in the eye, and she just lingered for a while, but she said, "Okay." And I gave her a hug, and I said, "I love you," and I walked away. And then my brother, he grabbed me by the arm. He was like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm good." And he said, "You don't seem like yourself." And I said, "No, I just have a lot in my mind. I have a lot on my, in my head." And that had become commonplace for me for that last year. Is that everything, whenever someone would notice something, I would say, "I just have a lot on my mind," and that would be enough to give them enough peace to not bother me. And he said, "Okay." He said, "I'm still going to see you tomorrow, right?" And I couldn't answer him. So all I did was I said, "All right, Pop, I'll see you later." And I gave him a hug, and I got in my car and I left. On the way driving, I called my girlfriend at the time, and she was packing up our second apartment, because we were facing eviction. She had no idea that we were facing eviction for the second time. I believe what I had said at the time is that we should save and for a house. And we were going through a rough patch at this time, and I called. I said, "Hey, I just want to say I love you." And she said, "I love you too." And she said, "Are you okay? You sound different." And I said, "I'm okay." And she said, "Okay." She said, "Well, when are you getting home?" And I said, I didn't say anything. And she said, "Hello," and I hung up the phone. And at that moment, I was driving, I saw a pole, and I let go. I let go of the steering wheel. Um, when the accident happened, or the attempt happened, and I was thankfully able to walk away, or not walk away, but I was able to recover, and I was unsuccessful in my attempt. The questions that would reveal themselves over the next hours, days, and months that would follow, along with rehab and therapy and a bunch of different things. It was why. My family asked why. They wanted to know what was happening, and that question was it wasn't so simple to answer, because to answer that question meant dealing with every part of the wreckage that I had caused. I had to come true as the truth started to reveal itself, and it did. I had to deal and have my family walked through the information and all the issues that were happening and that had happened and had taken place within that year. And I remember everybody would, when I was finally able to get out and talk, and yes, why didn't you tell us what was going on? Why didn't you let us in, and tell us what was happening? We would have helped, and they would have. But the shame and guilt piece, that became my secret that I couldn't let out. Revealing that I had caused this, or that this was happening, to other people it would have been a signal for help. But for me, all it signified is that I failed. All it revealed to the world was that I failed. I failed in every step of the way. And as things started to increase, and as my debt started to increase, and as these lies started to grow, and I reached this massive level and this massive, this weight became my companion with me every step of the way. Every meal that I went to, I carried this weight of shame and guilt. Every family function, the weight was there with me. And on the inside, I was suffering. On the inside, the shame and guilt became just it became my tormentor, and my soul was screaming, but on the outside, I didn't utter a word. When somebody would look at me, I was fine. I was very as composed as I could be. And I remember going through this webinar with my wife as I was prepping, and I say my wife because the girlfriend at the time, she's my wife now. She's stuck around, but she remembers all of this vividly, and especially her knowing the truth now. And when I was going through and I was practicing, she went through and she said, it's funny, or not funny, but she was like, what I realized is that I knew something was wrong, right? Like I knew, especially that last year, I knew that something was happening. But what I didn't expect is that I didn't think you were capable of that. I didn't think that when you think about someone who's depressed and sad, or someone who's dealing with a lot, you would think that there are obvious signs. And although I knew that something wasn't clicking, I just didn't think that it would happen to you. I didn't think that you would feel like that was your only solution. And within this community, and what we've learned with problem gambling is that it's called a hidden addiction for a reason. A lot of times, this community, members of, individuals who are suffering with this, they are trapped and pushed up against a wall, and almost feel that they are in it too deep, to the point where becoming honest doesn't seem like a solution. Research has shown that people with a gambling disorder are at a much higher risk of suicide compared to other people and other addictions. And in fact, they're compared to other people or the rest of the population, they're 15 times more likely to attempt suicide. And some of the issues that stem from that are financial loss. When you don't have an understanding of your finances, it can be an issue. When you feel like you are not in control, when you feel like things have spiraled to a whole level that it becomes unmanageable, that's a scary feeling to be in. That's a scary, dark place to go to. And when you pair that with shame and embarrassment, it's not as simple as waiting for the right opportunity to tell someone. It becomes, you become imprisoned by it. You become so desperate to keep this secret, to keep it hidden, and to find that quick, that quick release or that quick fix, because you don't want to put anybody through that pain, or you don't want to deal, you don't want to become the burden on other people, because you already feel that you're the burden and you're the problem. So there's a lot of factors that go into it, and that psychological distress, the depression, the anxiety, those are tough battles to fight. And it's difficult within this community because not every day, when someone has a problem, problem gambling, there's no neon sign, neon light above their head, or neon sign above their head that says that they're a problem gambler. A lot of times these signals, these warning signs, these issues and these battles are fought silently, and they go unnoticed. So I'm coming up to the conclusion, but we know that problem gambling is a serious issue. We know that it affects millions of people worldwide, and it leads to very severe consequences, or it can lead to very severe consequences. And as a tool, or something that I have an acronym that I'd like you to look at. It's not a simple acronym, so it's not something that you're going to want to put on a shirt, but it does help to give you an understanding of the warning signs and things to look out for. So S is spending more money than you can afford on gaming or gambling. Taking risks with money that should be used for other purposes. So again, taking that money that's reserved for rent, or that money that's reserved for bill pay, and using it on or using it on gambling, or moving to that level to use it there. Obsessing over gambling constantly, or thinking about it. So that becomes the only primary focus. Problems at work, school, home due to gambling. So again, from adolescent behavior to the adults that are out working, the issues that could happen there. Gambling to cope with negative emotions or stressful situations. Again, utilizing that escapism and using gambling, or using that method of just removing yourself from a situation as a way of coping. Avoiding friends and family to gamble instead. Putting yourself in that way where you're isolated again, or you're removing yourself. Missing important obligations or events, anything from birthday parties to anniversaries, things that when someone is so focused in that level, they just fall off the radar. Borrowing money or resorting to illegal activities to fund gambling. Again, the financial component is huge. It's something that we have to be aware of. It's a big indicator. It's a big warning sign that we should be looking toward. Lying to loved ones about gambling, either downplaying how much gambling is happening, or overplaying someone's suspicion, or making someone else feel that they're worried for no reason. Experiencing negative or emotional states such as guilt, anxiety, or depression. That emotional piece, those psychological distress, that things that stem from that. Again, with the situational awareness, but using context clues, all are important indicators that we should be looking out for. So an easy way to remember is stop gamble. again, it's a long acronym, but I think it's still useful for understanding the warning signs. Resources. So the council, again, is here. We've been here and we're not going anywhere, right? We recognize that these trends are growing. The gambling influence is rising, and the onset of gambling, of a gambling problem, or even the first, wager, that's getting lower. That the age of onset is getting lower. So we know that if the distress is growing, the rate is growing, the exposure is growing, there's a need now more than ever to make sure that this information is put forward, to make sure that individuals are paying attention to what's happening, to make sure that they have the proper information and they have the resources available. And the council is committed to doing that. And again, every service that we offer, whether it's a webinar, whether it's a training, whether it's going out to an event, it's at no cost to anybody, any organization at all. And that helpline, it's free and it should be used often. GA, Gamanon, again, organizations that are dedicated to help and support the problem gambler and their families. Now, with the availability of these programs to be put online, the information is out there. The access, you could be, there's always a meeting, there's always something going on. If you have trouble finding or locating a meeting, you can either reach out to the GA office, or you could reach out to the council, and we have resources that we can give you that will help you get connected. And of course, because of what we're talking about, because of the risk factors that are associated with problem gambling and with suicide, that 988 helpline, mental health crisis line, and as well as suicide helpline, it's important for someone in that state. It's important to feel that there's an outlet. It's important to feel that there is a place that they can go without judgment or without fear of that judgment. Being able to call and know that they are not alone, it's helpful. It could be the difference. So it's important to have that understanding, and it's important that we again utilize that resource. If someone needs it, we share it, and we are committed to just providing that information. I want to close with this. So since my attempt, I am blessed to be in a position where I have a great family. I have a son, I have a wife, I have a field that I love working in, and that I wake up every day and I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to be a part of this movement, to be a part of these things. And when we share these webinars and this information, during PGAM, it's so we have information that we can carry through all year long, right? 1 month is just not enough to get all the information out there. So I'm very blessed to be in the position that I am, and to be to experience the life and learn the value of life the way I have over these last few years. And I want to share something that I would often come across when I worked as a therapist, and I would run like groups or lectures, and there would always be, at some point someone would say, but this is your job. This is your job to care. It's your job to do these things. This is what you get paid for. And I would agree. And I say, you're absolutely right. This is my job. This 100% is my job. But if all addiction were eradicated from the face of the earth, if addiction were no longer a concern, and individuals like my job were no longer necessary as an addictions professional, I would celebrate in the street with you. And the reason being is because I have a resume. I can go get another job. I can go do something else. You can't get another life. Understanding the value of life, understanding that this is something that we have to work toward, and that utilizing these resources is important now more than ever. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank you all for listening to the webinar, for joining us as we finish out this this PGAM month. And if there are any questions or answers or questions or comments, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
All right, Michael, that was excellent. Thank you. Everybody's seen your praises in the chat. I did answer one question while you were talking, but
Okay.
any questions from Michael, just go ahead and put them in the chat.
If there are no questions, that means I did a good job of sharing the information. So I'm happy.
Well, that was a powerful story, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Did you switch to another addiction?
I did not. No, I did not. Thank you.
Can you see the chat?
I can see.
Okay.
It's going by fast, but I can see. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody. It looks like we got off at a good time. So if there are no questions, again, if anybody has any questions related to the material that I shared earlier, please let me know. Please reach out to me. Send me reach out to my email. My email is michael@800gambler.org. Pretty simple, and I'd be happy to help you. And I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for joining us during PGAM and for being a vital part of what the council does. Have a great day.
Thank you, Michael.